Kody Brown from Sister Wives talks about a devastating college romance with a woman he lost his virginity to. He also talked about how Robyn had pushed him to make things work in his broken marriages to Mary, Janelle, and Christine. Kody Brown is looking back on his romantic past. This week on Sister Wives, the head of the Brown family, Kody, thought about the end of his marriages to Janelle, Mary, and Christine after a great, and almost dangerous, four-wheeler date with his other wife, Robyn. That time of thinking made Kody remember an affair he had before he got married to more than one person. Do you want to know the most insane thing? I had a lover in college, and it was just a little fling, Kody told the cameras. I was a bad boy because of my faith. I lost my virginity in college. Kody Brown from Sister Wives talks about his only regret about his family and his hope for his brood. He said that it was devastating to me and heartbreaking because purity is everything in the church I was in. It's like you're working your way back for it. It was devastating, but nobody knew except for Mary and Robyn, he added. It was really because I don't believe I ever got intimate enough with Christine and Janelle to tell them. Elsewhere in the episode, Kody candidly spoke with Robyn, 46, about his now-dissolved relationships. His third wife, Christine, 52, was the first to leave the family's polygamous agreement in 2021, followed by Janelle, 55, and Mary, 53, months after. Because Robyn is still keen on her husband reconciling with Janelle, in particular, since Christine has moved on with now-husband David Woolley, and Mary chose to move on after waiting on Kody for years, Kody asked Robyn to stop pushing this idea of reconciliation with Janelle, who is happily single, on him. I probably would have moved on from Mary a lot sooner, but Robyn was constantly encouraging that relationship, he then said in a confessional. She told me that I needed to go and sleep on Christine's couch when Christine kicked me out of the house. And I was like, no way, I'm not doing that, he continued. When I had the fight with Janelle, she was saying, please, please. She was begging me not to fight with Janelle. Related, Kody Brown's confidence is coming back, as he looks forward to a lot more understanding in family. Exclusive from an outsider's perspective, Janelle told the cameras she had no idea what Robyn was pushing Kody to do, but she thinks it's a shame if Kody could be that controlled by Robyn that he would try to stay in a relationship. You know, that wasn't working. However, Mary's latest Instagram post comes just days after she told people she was dating non-exclusively. While living in Utah, Mary Brown isn't spending the holidays alone. The Sister Wives star, who announced her separation from Kody Brown in January 2023, revealed on Instagram on Saturday, December 28, that she celebrated Christmas this year with a mystery man, whom she tagged in the post. Mary, 53, shared a photo of herself posing with a man named Brandon Stone. In the snap, the pair smiled as they stood with their arms around each other inside of a home. It's a Christmas miracle, Mary captioned the photo, adding the hashtags mystery man and life is good. Related, Sister Wives Mary Brown says she and Robyn don't really talk a lot since she moved to Utah. Exclusive, Mary's post comes just days after she told people that she's dating non-exclusively, after splitting from her most recent ex, a man named Amos, whom she began dating in October 2023. The pair later announced their split in February. He just wasn't my person, Mary told People of Amos. We dated exclusively for a few months, but he just wasn't my type. You date more than one person at a time and then you say, okay, I can focus on this person. Let's be exclusive, she said. And then we'll see if it turns into something. That one didn't work. So, we broke up, and now I'm dating more than one person. The businesswoman, who moved from Flagstaff, Arizona, to Utah after breaking up with Kody, said, when you live in a small town, and then this day and age, it seems to be the thing is the dating sites. But she also said she has met a couple of people through people. Dating hasn't been her only focus. She has also been using this time to work on herself. I'm learning about myself and other people, Mary told People. Mary Brown talks about the 35 years she spent with Kody Brown, high hopes and dashed realities. She said, I'm learning to trust myself and be like, I'm getting a funny vibe. This person's just not for me. Even if it's just not a funny vibe, nothing's wrong with the person. It's just not for me. On TLC Sister Wives, viewers saw Mary's relationship with Kody, 55, and how Kody didn't want to work on it. In 2014, they got a civil divorce so that Kody could marry his fourth wife, Robyn Brown, and adopt her kids from her first marriage. Then, in January 2023, Mary and Kody decided to break up, and the church gave her permission to end their spiritual marriage. But the most recent episode of Sister Wives was nothing short of explosive. When Kody Brown got into another fight with words and hurt pride in Season 19, Episode 29, it was an emotional storm for viewers. Kody started the show by sitting down for his normal confession. His voice was piercing, his eyes were flaming, and his words were full of anger. "Do you know what I think?" He crossed his arms and said, "Christine, Janelle, and even Mary, none of them really loved me. They want my money now. They act like I wrecked their lives, but they're delighted to take everything I worked for." Then the camera cut to Christine, who was in her Utah house, drinking tea and smiling. She said, "Kody is crazy. I don't need his cash. I didn't leave his pocketbook. I left his control. I want peace, love, and a fresh start for me and my kids. That's on him if he wants to believe something else." Janelle had a distinct spirit. She shook her head in astonishment as she sat in her small flat. "Kody is always trying to control everything. He thinks we left because of money? No. We left because we were angry, neglected, and felt that we were being treated unfairly. The money is only a problem today because he won't admit that we all helped establish this family enterprise. We sacrificed too, not just him." Mary, on the other hand, felt conflicted, but nevertheless stood her ground. She said, "I'm sick of him making us look like bad guys. I stayed faithful for years, even when he didn't want me anymore. I deserve to be financially secure more than anyone else. But really, I simply want to move on with my dignity." Robyn, on the other hand, was in the thick of the storm. She cried and held a tissue during her confession. "It hurts to see the family so broken. Kody feels like he was let down, and I get why he's mad. But the other wives are also right. They spent years with this family. It's not about the money. It's about the recognition." As the episode went on, TLC showed a family dinner that quickly turned into turmoil. Kody yelled at his ex-wives, saying they were planning something against him. "You want my money, you want to ruin me, and you don't care about this family anymore," he yelled. Christine shot out with her usual wit. "Kody, you don't need us to destroy you. You're doing a great job of that on your own." The tension was so high that it felt like the room may explode. Janelle hit the table with her hand to remind him that she was the one who always worked and kept things stable while he followed dreams that often came apart. Mary gently got up and left, not wanting to get into another fight. The Brown family felt more broken than ever by the end of the episode. Kody said he was the victim, caught off guard by disloyalty and greed. His ex-wives, on the other hand, made it obvious that they didn't want his money. They wanted him to recognize their sacrifices and let them live without him. The last picture showed Kody walking alone in his Flagstaff house and mumbling to himself, "They'll regret leaving me. They'll regret it when they realize money doesn't buy happiness." But viewers knew the truth. His ex-wives were already happy, and it had nothing to do with his money. But the Sister Wives family had another crazy summer in 2025, and fans couldn't stop talking about the latest news online. The Brown family saga was more dramatic than ever, with Kody Brown's strange attempt to stay relevant, Suki's no-nonsense interview, and Christine's life-changing trip abroad. Kody had been quiet on social media for a while, but in June he suddenly reappeared through cameo videos. Fans who paid for individual shoutouts were astonished not just by how crazy and messy he looked, but also by the strange things he uttered. Kody didn't wish anyone a happy birthday in one cameo. Instead, he went on a rant about how the world doesn't understand polygamy and said that his ex-wives were still enamored with him. In another, he dramatically strummed an out-of-tune guitar while singing a made-up song about family unity. Clips of these cameos rapidly went popular on TikTok and Reddit. Some admirers chuckled and said that Kody was definitely trying too much to stay relevant, while others thought his behavior was sad and desperate. His kids, too, are said to have thought it was embarrassing. Suki's explosive interview. Journalist and reunion presenter Sukanya Krishnan, who is better known as Suki, got an exclusive interview with Janelle, Mary, and Christine. The interview was honest and heartbreaking, with each woman talking honestly about what life was like after Kody. Janelle claimed she was having trouble with money, but she felt freer than ever. Mary said she didn't regret leaving Kody, but she was sad about how coldly he had treated her. Christine said, "I finally know what real love feels like," regarding her marriage to David Woolley. But the most unexpected part was when Suki asked them about Kody's recent cameos. Christine laughed so hard that she had to wipe her eyes. She said, "I couldn't even watch the whole thing. It was just Kody being Kody." Christine's big trip. At the end of the month, Christine said she was going on a big trip with David and their families. Where are they going? Italy. She posted photographs on Instagram of gondola rides in Venice, spaghetti meals in Rome, and stunning views along the Amalfi Coast. Fans talked about how different their lives had turned out online, and the happiness that came through in her messages was a stark contrast to Kody's unpredictable cameos. Christine even implied that TLC cameras might have filmed part of the trip, teasing followers with a statement, "New adventures are always worth sharing." Stay tuned for fan reactions. Social media went crazy with comments like, "Christine is living her best life, while Kody is losing it on Cameo." The glow-up is real. Suki deserves an Emmy for getting the truth out of everyone. Kody went from having 4 wives to 4-minute rants on Cameo. What a fall. But Janelle Brown finally made a shocking decision after years of trouble, heartbreak, and confusing relationships in Flagstaff. She was moving out east. She was living for herself for the first time in decades, not for Kody or the family's never-ending drama, but for her own serenity. The cameras followed her as she packed up the rest of her things. Her adult children were behind her, with Maddie and Logan telling her to go through with it. "Mom, you've done so much for Dad and for all of us. It's your time now," Maddie remarked as she hugged her hard. Janelle's eyes flooded with tears as she realized that this was more than simply a move. It was a new beginning. She was going to North Carolina, a peaceful place not too far from Maddie's relatives. Janelle wanted to live closer to her grandchildren, and the East's lush greenery felt like a new beginning contrasted to her memories of the parched desert in Arizona. She rented a lovely farmhouse with a porch that went all the way around it, which was something she had always wanted. She kept herself occupied in the first 2 weeks by gardening, cooking, and going to local farmers markets. She smiled and laughed more, and she also slept better at night. But there were also times when she had to think. She told the TLC cameras while sitting on her porch one night, "I don't regret my past, but I can't let it hold me back. I deserve happiness, freedom, and love in any form it comes," Kody said. The elder kids told him that Janelle seemed happy than ever. He told Robyn she's leaving the family, but Robyn saw something deeper. Maybe Kody was just furious because Janelle wasn't sad without him. Janelle was making new pals in North Carolina. The women in the area welcomed her with open arms. Soon, she was going on hikes, going to book groups, and even taking yoga classes. The crew got a shot of her smiling as she tried things she never had time for previously. Suki, the host of Sister Wives Tell All, went to Janelle's house for an exclusive sit-down interview in one explosive scene. Suki remarked softly, "So, Janelle, do you see this as the start of a new chapter?" Janelle smiled and took a drink of her tea. "This isn't just a new chapter. This is the first time I've ever written my own book." The program closed with a montage of Janelle strolling down a trail in the fall, with colorful leaves falling around her. "Once upon a time, I was part of a story that wasn't really mine," she said in a gentle voice. "Now that I'm out here, I can finally live for myself." But the sun was going down above Flagstaff, and the sky was turning gold and purple. The Brown family had been living with stress, grief, and never-ending arguments for years. For the first time in a long time, each wife was on her own path, one that would lead to healing, independence, and self-discovery. Kody was alone in the backyard of the house he shared with Robyn. He looked at the light that was fading, his mind weary. He told himself a lot that he was in charge and that his wife had gone because they couldn't manage the family vision. But deep down, he knew the truth. He had pushed them away with his pride, stubbornness, and inability to really listen. Christine, on the other hand, was doing well. She had moved to Utah with her daughter Truly, and her home was full with laughter again. She had launched a small cooking business, selling baked bread and casseroles that reminded her of family traditions, but this time there was no anger. Christine was happy in her new relationship with David, a man who was nice and respectful to her. Her kids could tell the difference. "Mom, you smile so much now," Truly would say, and every time, Christine's heart felt a bit better. Janelle was also making her own world. She had chosen freedom, living in an RV for a period, and focusing on her own wellness path. Janelle felt free and lonely now that her kids were grown. She put all of her energy into her friendships, fitness, and business. But the most important thing was that she was finding her voice again. She no longer felt like she had to make herself smaller to meet Kody's needs. Mary was probably the hardest of them all. She had been fighting feelings of rejection for years, holding on to the notion that she could one day get back together with Kody. But as time went on, she understood that the dream she had been holding on to was no longer genuine. Mary started to put more effort into her bed and breakfast in Utah over time. She got back into writing journals and telling stories and made friends who were there for her. She felt like herself for the first time in decades. And then Robyn came along. She was still attached to Kody, unlike the others, since she still believed that their spiritual marriage was worth surviving. But Robyn couldn't overlook the problems in their foundation either. Kody's anger had grown stronger, and she felt the weight of being the last wife standing. She sobbed a lot at night, wondering if this was the life she really wanted. She had always wanted a big family that got along. She was left with nothing but quiet and anger. TLC cameras kept filming their travels for months. The viewers watched as each woman constructed her new identity, while Kody tried, sometimes with all his might, to change the story. He gave interviews in which he said he had been deceived, left behind, and misunderstood. But the truth was clear. The spouses had selected themselves. Christine organized a family get-together in Utah one night. She asked Janelle, Mary, and all the kids to come. There was a lot of talking, laughing, and music in the house. There was no Kody, no stress, and no restrictions. Just family having fun together. To new beginnings, Janelle said as she raised a glass to toast. To choosing to be happy, even when it's scary. To love, freedom, and the link that will always connect us as sisters, even if we are no longer married to Kody. Christine's eyes flooded with tears. Mary nodded with quiet strength. And for the first time, the three women were at ease. Kody, who lived far away in a tranquil house, looked at photographs of the gathering on social media. The grins, the laughing, the affection. He slumped back in his chair, feeling an emotion he didn't often admit: regret. The saga of the sister wives wasn't over yet. It was barely starting, but he wasn't there. Hello, lovely viewers. Welcome to my channel. I'm Sabrina, and I hope your day is going well. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you appreciate the video.